I seen an article that was saying America was doing something to get ready to try to have something ready to compete with the BRICS money, whatever it's called.
With the what
Because they
money?
got the BRICS. The Brazil, India. Uh, no, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And then
Oh,
there's
say I had never even heard of that. You know, League of Nations. For lack of a better term, I'd never heard of that one.
You ain't never heard of that?
Not of BRICS. No. I never knew that Brazil. I knew that Russia and China were linked, and China, of course, is doing a whole bunch of stuff in Africa. But I didn't know that Russia that Brazil, Russia, India, and China are all linked with South Africa. I didn't know that.
Yeah, bub. Hang on. It started out as a BRIC, BRIC, and then with South Africa was the latest one that joined.
And what are they joined on? Policy, trade. What are they joined in on?
All that. Mm-hmm. And on this new, they got a new money form of money, and it was saying, and it was gonna put America and their printed dollars to shame. That's why whatever I was reading was saying that they've been fucking. Sorry, excuse my language, but they've been really hitting it hard trying to get whatever they've got to present to compete with it to be a better option, because the dollar it's been OV with that.
Yeah. What is it? Some type of electronic currency or some sort of like crypto or whatever?
Just to look up. Let's see. All right, I can spin this around. Let you see. Can you see?
Well, all the
monitor.
Words, so can't read it, but
yeah,
I see what.
My. All right, good official sign. Okay. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The BRICS leaders in 2019 from left to right. Okay.
Hey, just a little note for you. I think it would work better if you turn your front camera back around on you and then switch the camera on your little options page. On your little options. There you go. Yeah, that might work better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now.
Yeah. And then I can. All right, let's see. How do I, how I zoom in on this?
I don't know. I've never done that. You might just be able to tap it and zoom. No, I don't see that.
Here we go.
No.
Okay, view page. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you can zoom.
Yeah, I don't know if you can either.
I can see it though. I can see it where it says BRICS. BRICS.
Right, redirect. Yeah, okay. All right, for 5 is an acronym for 5 regional economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The first 4 were initially grouped as BRIC, or the BRIC, and then a little s.
Mm-hmm.
In 2001 by Goldman Sachs. And dude, that's what's crazy. Goldman Sachs bankrolled this.
Yeah,
that is
still America. It's still Edom, but it's not the government of America.
Right. This is them funding their opposition, but it's in the worst way. Like in the beginning, it was to present something to what's it called, the United Nations, or we're
the United Nations.
Yes. Well, see, they've or Goldman Sachs themselves was not moving solely based on Babylon's agenda or America's agenda. They were Goldman Sachs
on personal agendas.
Right. Goldman Sachs was looking out for their bottom line and helping these other countries, giving them these loans at tremendous rates.
Yes.
But then turns out it didn't take them long. Let me see what it says. In 2001, by Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill, who coined the term to describe fast-growing economies that will collectively dominate the global economy by 2050. South Africa was added in 2010. The BRICS have a combined area of 39,746,220 kilometers squared, or 15,346,100 square miles, and an estimated total population of about 3.21 billion, or about 26.7 of the world's. Dude, it makes up 41.5% of the global population and GDP.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, hang on there, GDP or PPP. And the latter three are widely considered to be current or emerging superpowers. Where, hang on, it says Brazil, Russia, India, and China are among the world's 10 largest countries by population area and GDP.
Yeah.
All right, all 5 states are members of the G20, with a combined nominal GDP of US $28.06 trillion, about 26.6% of the gross world product, a total GDP of around $56.65 trillion US, and 32.5% of global GDP PPP, and an estimated US 4.46 trillion in combined foreign reserves as of 2018. They were originally identified for the purpose of highlighting investment opportunities and had not been a formal intergovernmental organization. Since 2009, they have increasingly. Hang on, I'll get a little closer. I'll read through my phone so I know you can see. All right. Since 2009, they have increasingly formed into a more cohesive geopolitical bloc, and their governments meeting annually at formal summits and coordinating multilateral policies. China hosted the most recent 14th BRICS summit on the 24th of July 2022. Bilateral relations among the BRICS are conducted mainly on the basis of non-interference, equality, and mutual benefit. Guess who that's pointed at right there?
The non-interference. Yeah. They said keep the U.S. out of our lands
and out of our business.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, like that's what they say. What is it? The word that they use there? Interference. They say, they're interfering in these foreign countries to help stabilize democracy.
Yeah, that's what they say. But
it's really they interfere, but they do the run in, basically. All right, the BRICS are considered the foremost geopolitical rival to the G7 leading advanced economies, announcing competing initiatives such as the New Development Bank, the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, the BRICS Payment System, the BRICS Joint Statistical Publication, and the BRICS Basket Reserve Currency. All right, since 2022, the group has sought to expand membership, with several developing countries expressing interest in joining. The BRICS both praise and criticism from numerous commentators. And dude, the last time I looked into it, it was like over 160 something countries now are joined with them.
So this is interesting. This is exciting because this is actually shaping and forming the if you want to call it allies and axis powers or whatever for World War III.
Right, exactly. That's where IUIC was talking about it in a few of their videos. And that's where I first seen it and started hearing about it, and I was like, dang, it's shaping up.
Yeah.
These countries are starting to, they're starting to pick sides and get hunkered down and bunkered in, ready for this thing to pop off in the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Yeah, exactly. The Valley of Megiddo.
Right.
Yeah.
The Valley of Decision or Judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does
So
that?
like I suspected for a while that, of course, it would be Russia and China allied. I didn't realize that it was going to be, India and Brazil alongside it, because India, it has nuclear weapons as well.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, man, and now they got South Africa too. I don't know exactly what South Africa has to offer other than being an entry point into Africa. Like that's what China really has been after these past decade or so. China has really been wanting an entrance into Africa, been wanting to get into these African countries to steal the resources, or rather buy the resources.
Right.
And
yeah, the South Africa, see, it's got it right here. That's what they're calling South Africa.
Well, yeah, I know. That's the country of South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I was looking at South America, tripping. Okay, yeah, for sure. But also, not only as an entry point, but
yeah, and it kind of makes sense because, like I said, I knew that Russia and China would be linked because they've been linked for a while. But then you go south from China and you go directly into India. I'm pretty sure they border one another. Maybe there's a couple buffer states, but yeah, if you sail and take your ships, take your fleet south of India, or maybe even if you fly, you'll go right to South Africa.
Your feed is going crazy.
Oh, is it?
You'll pause, like you'll still be talking and stuff, but like your screen and stuff will pause and you're not doing nothing, and then we'll start hearing your voice, and then all of a sudden the screen will like speed and catch up to you. It's crazy, and you going in and out a lot.
Yeah, I think that's all around because that happened a bit with yours as well.
Okay. So that just must be
to be expected whenever you're dealing with Facebook Live.
Right, that's the feed we're on.
Yeah.
But hang on, I was saying this to show you that about their currency,
okay.
And I think I just found where they start talking about it. Hang on. All right. The term BRIC was originally developed in context of foreign investment strategies. It was introduced in 2001 publication, Building Better Global Economic BRICS, by then chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Jim O'Neill. The term was coined by Rupa Purushothaman. See it? Alphabet soup.
Yeah, Rupa Purushothaman. Yeah. That's probably a guy from India.
See, who was a research assistant in the original report. So he was a research assistant, which means he's the one who figured out, the research assistant, he's the one who figured out, exactly what these other countries was doing. And, forming their BRICS and their true agendas and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he's the one who coined it that. Huh?
No, I was just saying that
originally, He what now?
I said he was an assistant to those researchers. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Gosh dang. I can now.
Okay, so yeah, I was just saying he was an assistant to those researchers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's see. Coined by then chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management. So this is the chairman of the Goldman Sachs Asset Management, which is Jim O'Neill.
Yeah.
The term was coined by Rupa Purushothaman, who was a research assistant in the original report. All right, so for their asset, so he was a research assistant for Goldman Sachs Asset Management, and his boss was Jim O'Neill.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the group that is making the decisions on the Goldman Sachs money. Right, or asset management, obviously. Yeah. All right. So the dude in charge of Goldman Sachs, the largest banking institution, at least domestically, for America. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And he's the one who coined the term BRICS because these countries that he made an acronym.
Hold up. Because Goldman Sachs originally started this project because they were like, look at all the resources and the people and the labor that China and Russia and India and Brazil can offer. That's exactly that's looking at it like.
You know how the Most High's got it orchestrated to where Esau will completely, bring forth their downfall. As far as their own tongue will fall back on them, as far as all of the Edomites exposing, Esau that's doing all these, he's really living the gimmick of the devil.
Yes. Not only that, but Goldman Sachs, I'm sure, obviously they're only looking out for their own profit, their own bottom line for their business. But
absolutely,
they initially put on this project not only to help themselves, but to help America and America's businesses. But then these countries actually came together and said, let's push Goldman Sachs out of this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or like I was reading previously that like America put the they supposedly put the hammer or really put the interrogation line on Goldman Sachs, making them stop stop funding them, stop sending them money after they got to a certain position as far as strength wise, and America seen how they was really making moves, advancing on them.
Yeah. Shalom, brother Malachi. I seen where you
Shalom. Shalom. Shalom, brother.
Where he had saw something concerning BRICS, and I don't know if you've heard of this conglomeration of countries, but BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. How they formed a league together, and now they're starting to come about with their own currency as well. Brother Gad was bringing this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Britain, Russia.
No, it's Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and South Africa.
Right, South Africa.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, BRICS. Okay, so
that's the main five. What you call it? Like the main five member states is what it calls it right here, and key leaders, member states and key leaders. But that's the main five powers that make up this pretty much the enemy of Esau and Babylon. All right, so let's see. I just seen something about the currency. All right, we'll go on down.
Okay.
Let's see if I can zoom in. I still can't. All right, I'll just hold it up on.
Yeah, you can zoom in on your desktop though.
For investing purposes, the list of emerging economies sometimes included South Africa, which expanded. Do what now? On my desktop?
Yeah. The lag on your end is pretty strong, because I said that like a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah, quite a few seconds.
But no, like I don't know if you're in Chrome, but usually there's a tab up in the top right corner that you can click, and there's a zoom once you open up that whole list of options.
Let's share this page. Just bookmark. Okay. Hang on one second. I think I found it. That ain't it. Yeah, here we go. Hang on. No, this is his tabs. Okay. But anyway, yeah, it says, okay, for investing purposes, the list of emerging economies sometimes included them, which expanded the acronym to BRICS or BRIC with a K. the foreign ministers of the initial 4 BRIC general states, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, met in New York City in September of 2006 at the margins of the general debate of the United Nations Assembly, beginning a series of high-level meetings. A full-scale diplomatic meeting was held in Yekaterinburg, Russia, on the 16th of June, 2009. The BRIC grouping's first formal summit, also held in Yekaterinburg, commenced on the 16th of June 2009 with Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. All right, and a bunch of names I ain't finna say. The respective leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, and China all attending. The summit's focus was on improving the global economic situation and reforming financial institutions, and discussed how the 4 countries could better cooperate in the future. There was further discussion of ways that developing countries, such as 3/4 of the BRIC members, could become more involved in global affairs. Yeah, that's something also that I was reading that China and Russia was like, they was like going around recruiting gang members pretty much. Mm-hmm. And like the thing that IUIC, I think, was bringing out was how they just hooked up India, or it might have been Brazil, could have possibly been South Africa too. But anyways, it had to do with them providing them a ton of nukes and nuclear, ingredients, so to say, and pretty much supplying them what they needed to continue to manufacture on top of what they supplied them with to begin with. It's making sure that everybody sitting at has the nuclear power to stand against Babylon.
Yeah, I didn't even know about Brazil having nukes, but maybe that's where India got their nukes from, because I know India does have nukes. So let me look this up.
Yeah, my stuff must be messed up, because y'all are lagging pretty much. Do what now?
I was just saying that maybe that's where India got their nukes from. I haven't heard of Brazil having nukes, but maybe that's where India got their nukes from.
For sure, it's where they did, and it was like within the last few years. All right. In the aftermath of the Edinburgh Summit, the BRIC nations announced the need for a new global reserve currency, which would have to be diverse, stable, and predictable. Although the statement that was released did not directly criticize the perceived dominance of the U.S. dollar, something that Russia had criticized in the past, it did spark a fall in the value of the dollar against other major currencies. All right. And it talks about South Africa coming in. Potential further expansion since South Africa joined the BRIC grouping, now BRICS, in 2010. Numerous other countries have expressed interest in joining the bloc, including Argentina, and here it goes. Here's what they were talking about: Iran.
Yeah,
Iran's joining them, and that's who they just hooked up. Also, is what they was bringing out. It's talking about how Ishmael would be the one that come down on Esau, pretty heavy, and it was saying how they just provided them with a ton of stuff, and they had like working, fully, ready to go nukes.
Yeah, because back in, or rather,
hey, I got it. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, he just cut out. But no, back in, I think it was George Bush, or maybe even somebody before him, who put a ban on Iran having nuclear weapons. But during the days of Obama, he come up off of it, and he come up off that agreement. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what led to them developing the nuclear powers.
Right, exactly. And and they've been making it hard and embargoing and all this and that on just the materials that Iran needs. And they were saying they
I seen it.
They have what you call it? they have developed the technologies useful in mass production of nuclear, missiles or whatever you want to call them, apparatuses.
Yeah. But I suppose Brazil was a little too close to home for the U.S. because I just looked it up on Brazil, and it said that Brazil doesn't have any nuclear weapons, allegedly. But it said that due to their agreements with, with other nations. So, take that as like, the U.S. basically. They can't have nuclear weapons in Brazil.
Right. That's they were, they drew the line in the sand.
Exactly.
All right. It says Beijing backed Argentina's potential extension following a meeting between Argentine Foreign Minister Santiago Cafiero and Chinese. It's saying that them two nations or countries, Argentina and Iran, signaled their intent to join BRICS during meetings with senior Chinese officials. Mm-hmm. The current BRICS chair over the course of summer of 2022, so last summer. But you see, so they're going, pulled to the side. Hey, let me holler at you for a minute.
Yep.
To the Chinese, so they got some kind of relationship, Iran and Argentina, with China, on a more comfortable level than they would have even the other nations of BRICS.
Yes,
see what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's what China has been doing. And see, now this is making a lot more sense to me because I noticed, especially when I did a video on my YouTube page a while back about China, about Moab.
Yeah.
And yeah. I noticed what they had been doing as far as going to all these different countries and forming alliances with them. I figured it was about stealing resources and getting land, but now I think it's about forming allies to start this world war. Basically.
Exactly. On the margins on the 77th United Nations General Assembly.
Hey, Brother Mike, can you mute your mic? Because it's interfering with Brother Gad right now.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so here you go. Likewise, it is understood that Russia, India, and Brazil all support Argentina's application. Iran also submitted an application in June 2022 to Chinese authorities to join the Economic Association of Emerging Markets. Relations between Iran, China, and Russia have warmed in recent months as all three governments seek new allies against increasing Western opposition. There is no formal application process as such to join BRICS, but any hopeful government must receive unanimous backing from all existing BRICS members, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, once again, to receive an invitation. Ahead of the BRICS summit, South Africa's foreign minister, Naledi Pandor, said that there are 12 countries interested in joining the initiative. Of the 12, she mentioned 7 countries specifically, namely Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Algeria, Argentina, Mexico, and Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Stop right there. Because what's interesting about that, the name that stood out the most right there to me is Saudi Arabia. Because again, I reference back to a video that I did back talking about the Ishmaelites and Saudi Arabia, where I basically went over how they like to play both sides.
Absolutely, that's my.
Yes, the ally, since I don't even know since when, but a long time, definitely since maybe the middle of the 20th century, since the 1900s, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia have had this, close-knit relationship for the oil and whatever else, right? But even in that video that I did then, which was a few months ago, where I didn't even know about BRICS, Saudi Arabia had these dealings with Russia
Right.
or whatever else. But yeah, I see that now that they're trying to join BRICS, and again, it's probably just about playing both sides. And who knows which side they will be on when the World War actually comes. They'll probably end up doing damage to both.
Right, exactly. But also, you gotta think, bro. This is like all right. So off top, America and Russia are both Esau cousins.
Yeah.
So let's say you got these cousins, all right, and they're both competing to be, let's just say, class president, all right, okay, and you got Moab, who just wants to be up their ass and be able to eat at the table and not have to sit at the kiddie table and be treated like y'all ain't us, but y'all ain't bad either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because America, they big dogged them to the fullest.
Yeah.
And they knew they were fully in control and didn't have to give them an inch, and damn sure have not. So Russia comes along and says, you got to be sick of them. I know we sure as hell are, and we'll do da 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 for you if you just join with us. And when we come out on the other side of this thing, America will be falling, and you'll get da 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 promises. Okay, so boom, you got China linked up with Russia, the cousin, to put it in simpler terms. But and the one cousin, he's been class president for so long, and he's been going around to his peers and just really throwing his weight around and fucking won't let nobody do nothing without him come stick his nose in it and forcing his ideas on the situation, even though most of the time they're awful, and just the real dick everybody when he walks around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
let me
so
ask a question. Let me ask a question right quick. What scriptures did y'all go through to tie this in with that? What you're talking about?
Oh, we haven't
Have y'all
got
went through any scripture yet?
until
no,
yeah, we ain't went to the scripture yet. We ain't started until like 8:30. So this is the first thing that we've been over. We're about to get into the scripture whenever he gets done bringing us out about the BRICS.
yeah, I was just trying to get to the money part, but I had no idea that you hadn't even heard of this, Ezekiel. No. I don't know about you, Brother Malachi. Have you heard of BRICS?
The BRICS. Well, the BRICS ain't nothing but the British, is it not?
No, that's this organization of these countries.
Oh, no,
It's
no,
like
no, no, no,
the Allies.
Well, you know what? I have heard of some. I have heard of some metaphoric sayings on like cartoons and certain things where they were talking about bricks and all that shit. But I wouldn't think of it in that sense. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I have heard of it, but I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about it as for like the British. I think that the BRICS is a all that is just one organization. So no, I haven't heard of that, but I have heard of the statement of the BRICS. Yeah.
Right. And also that's very, very similar to Brits as far as like, and that's definitely the British.
So I'm gonna say something, but I'm gonna have to go, man, because the sun's still up over here, man. But I gotta get ready for the Sabbath.
Hey,
I've been out working.
fine.
But well, I'm just going to catch. I'm gonna catch the replay.
No problem.
I'm definitely catch the replay, but I'm gonna get back with y'all brothers though, man, for real.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. You know I'm here. You got my number.
Yep.
Huh?
I said, I'm
Say
here.
what?
You got my number. So yeah, just feel free.
Better. All right. Shalom, brothers. Most High Christ bless y'all. Happy Sabbath.
Hey,
All right,
shalom,
shalom.
bro.
All
Most
right.
High Christ bless. Happy Sabbath.
All right. Come on here.
Oh.
Okay.
There we go. So yeah, feel free to continue on the on the BRICS, and then we'll get into the scripture.
Right. That's why I was trying to wrap it up so we can go ahead and hit some scripts.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see. It says what type? It's an intergovernmental organization. Its purpose is political. Headquarters is the BRICS Tower. Location in Shanghai, China.
Yeah, see that's funny because from what you had mentioned about their origins in 2006. First of all, I've never heard of this. They've been around since 2006.
No,
and
look, they called them BRICS. What we just read earlier, he said it was introduced in the 2001 publication, Building Better Global Economic BRICS, by then chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Jim O'Neill. The term was coined by Alphabet Soup, his research assistant, who come up with the term.
I thought their first meeting was in 2006 in New York.
No, it was a specific meeting that it mentioned in New York in 2006. See, it said the foreign ministers of the initial 4 BRIC general states, being Brazil, Russia, India, and China, met in New York City in September 2006 at the margins of the general debate of the United Nations Assembly, beginning a series of high-level meetings. A full-scale diplomatic meeting was held in Yekaterinburg, Russia, on the 16th of June 2009. So that was just the first of a series of high-level meetings that they was getting
in the high gear.
Exactly. That's when they got together and they said, okay, so let's map out our strategy and, of the, so many years out of how we're, play this game.
Yeah, so even more so, this thing's been around since I've been alive, and they never talk about this on the news.
No, never. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. This thing is at least 20. Like I said, since they termed it BRICS in 2001 in vacation. So therefore, like you said, since at least you've been alive, this has been a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But China and Russia have been in league together since like the 1950s or whatever, right? So this thing has been building for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to cut your wisdom or anything. Go ahead and continue where you were.
All right. So let's see here. All right. Let's see.
Going into the currency.
Right. Let's see. Let's see. Margin. Okay. Likewise, it is understood that Russia, India, and Brazil, okay, they support them. Yeah, we know that. All right. And then we read them 7 other. And see, this is ahead of the BRICS summit. South Africa's foreign minister. So leading up to the BRICS summit, the foreign minister of South Africa, Naledi Pandor, looks like this. He's been eating good.
Oh, absolutely.
Sitting up there.
Absolutely. So this is either an Israelite that they got on board or one of them Canaanites down there in South Africa. Because it's a mix between the two when you get into them African countries.
It's a woman.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a woman. But these days you can't tell.
Absolutely not. But Grace Naledi, Mandisa Pandor, that's her name, is a South African politician, educator, and academic, serving as the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation since 2019. She has served as a member of Parliament for the African National Congress since 1994.
Right. So the point still remains that this is either a Canaanite or an Israelite woman. But now that I know it's a woman, it's probably an Israelite woman, because you know how these heathen like to prop up the Israelite woman.
Absolutely. And get her thinking that she's been right all along.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so specific. So this is just her coming out here and doing a little chest beating ahead of their summit. In what year did it say? Ahead of the BRICS summit. No, I don't think it says.
It was
what year?
Right?
Yeah, in 2022, last year.
Yeah, I thought so. This is basically she's doing some PR.
Right, exactly. She come out and said before they had their summit, their actual summit, she comes out and says that there are 12 countries interested in joining. So she comes out, she's like, we have 12 more countries that's interested in, becoming a part of our organization, our conglomerate, including, she mentioned 7 countries specifically. She was, standing on her soapbox behind E7,
Yes.
being who just did all this shit, including what's going down either tonight or tomorrow night, as far as Night of Champions with WWE,
Yeah.
and doing their mass media, what's it called?
Indoctrination.
Yeah, not just that, but like it's a, we're playing nice together.
Yeah.
PR move.
Yes, I know what you're saying. The like the whole meeting, the I know exactly. If you wouldn't ask me about it, I could tell you the word. But yeah, they're doing this big sweep of trying to Americanize Saudi Arabia.
Right, exactly, and like westernize it.
Yes.
And like they're saying, bring it into the 21st century or whatever the hell.
Modernize it. Yeah.
Right, where they have commercials of women driving cars as a big whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, exactly. Like women can drive cars here now. Look at us. We're so progressive.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's them vile liberals, boy.
Absolutely.
And also the United Arab Emirates. That's big. All the smaller Arab countries all of Ishmael coming together saying, hey, we don't like none of y'all bastards, but if there's going to be a side, we ain't picking America.
Yeah. Yeah, the UAE, I believe that's where Dubai is, correct? The UAE?
Yeah, I believe so. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dubai is one of them, big business cities.
Yes. And it's very westernized.
Absolutely, but it's more about it's pretty much like the new version of Hong Kong, where like everybody would go to Hong Kong to do business. Now a lot of people go to Dubai to do business.
Absolutely, and especially musicians.
Yes, to perform.
That's one of the main places, especially to begin with, overseas, out of the States that they'll go to, and especially like one person in particular that pops in my mind is 6ix9ine. Yeah. After he went through his whole snitching thing, that's the first place he went, and he got back on. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
On.
There's a lot of money to be made over there. All them business people having their meetings, they want to have fun. At the end of the day, they go and see their famous or their favorite artist or whatever.
Dude, that's like the hot spot now in these past few years for all the elites of the world to get away to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to tie it back into BRICS, they really want to incorporate that whole China and whether it be Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, whoever, they want to say, oh, come and share some of that money and trade with us.
Exactly. And we'll scratch y'all's back as well in whatever areas y'all need. Yeah, exactly. And also we all stand together against that damn wretched beast.
Yeah, the great Satan, as some people call it.
There you go. All right, in Egypt, who is in the news right now because of the following the shit with Kevin Hart, they are now pitching a fit about Cleopatra and the series that's coming out on Netflix where she's black. I say again, they are tripping. The Egypt and Egyptians are throwing a fit that they are doing a historical piece on Cleopatra where she is black.
Yeah, which is crazy because Cleopatra was not even Egyptian. She was a Greek woman.
Okay. And so she was really white.
Yes. One of the few Egyptians who were actually white because she was not Egyptian. She come from Ptolemy, who was a Greek guy.
Right, exactly.
He was from that family.
Right. He was placed as a pharaoh, was he not?
Yes. By Alexander.
Right. Or after Alexander died, that's the part of all the land he had conquered that he claimed. Correct?
Yes, exactly. Because he was already a governor over that land, so he just said, "Well, now I'm king."
Right. Now I'm pharaoh.
Yes, exactly.
I got even more say so and whip, quote unquote. But also, let's see here. So Egypt is joining them. along with Algeria, Nigeria, and of course, two big ones that stood out to me. Not necessarily Argentina because that's a given, but Mexico, bro.
Yeah, Mexico is right there to the south of the U.S. I'm surprised that it's probably because the U.S. has been demonizing the hell out of Mexico for the past few years.
Not just that, but they've also been under the table, out of the limelight, out of the spotlight, been setting all this shit up, cooking up all this shit with the cartels, and making sure that they their business is successful, so they have the financial power to buck against the government. And not only that, but also they're known for throwing the rock and then running back, hiding your hand, and trying to figure out who did it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And see, I wouldn't be surprised if on the back of this that the some Central American states also join in with BRICS, because the U.S. has always had a history of destroying Latin America. So that's
absolutely. And like you got Argentina, you got Brazil starting this mug off top. They're the B in BRICS.
Yeah.
So that major well that'd be South America. But Central, yeah, like you said, and then here's Mexico. So that's the main one from Central America that's got to let's take that stand to let all of the smaller guys or countries know, hey, come on now, it's time.
Yeah, exactly. And this may already be the case because I know they're a part of OPEC, but is Venezuela part of BRICS? Because that would be a big one.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere. Like I said, bro, there was an article saying, and it was recently too, like within the last couple of months, that it was close to I'm either gonna say 60, 120, or 160. Somewhere in that ballpark. But hell, even let's just say it's the smallest, and then the part of that I'm remembering is 60. Then still, bro, that's 60 of the biggest powers globally coming together saying, hey, we're down for whatever is directly opposed to America.
Okay, yeah, I just looked it up, and from what I can tell, this is from April 25th, 2023. This is BNN. I don't know what BNN is, but it said that according to Maduro, Venezuela is keen to participate actively in the BRICS alliance.
There you go.
So that's this year. They're talking about joining. So yeah, find what you need to put on the currency, and we'll go ahead and get into the scripture because it's been about an hour already.
Right, I see that. Furthermore, Jim O'Neill said that new members should have populations of at least 100 million in order to counter the U.S. dollar's dominance. All right, developments. The BRICS Forum, an independent international organization encouraging commercial, political, and cultural cooperation among the BRICS nations, was formed in 2011. And that's the BRICS Forum. All right, it's an independent international organization encouraging. Okay, so this is another. It's like a subsect, what's it called? A spinoff of the BRICS organization. It's called the BRICS Forum, which is an independent organization that's going around to these different nations, maybe even possible recruit nations, encouraging commercial, political, and cultural cooperation with the BRICS nations. All right. In June 2012, the BRICS nations pledged $75 billion to boost the lending power of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. However, this loan was conditional on IMF voting reforms. In late March 2013, during the 5th BRICS Summit in Durban, South Africa, the member countries agreed to create a global financial institution intended to cooperate with the Western-dominated IMF, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank. After the summit, the BRICS stated that they plan to finalize the arrangements for this new development bank by 2014. However, disputes relating to burden sharing and location slowed down the agreements.
Man,
So they could
be right there because they said we're going to give the IMF a whole bunch of money while we also work on competition for the IMF.
exactly. So that's pacifying the enemy and making sure they still get paid, so they're not looking into nothing, asking extra questions.
Yeah.
At the same time, trying to put their heads together, even though it took them a while because they couldn't get over and exactly figure out who's going to do what of the burden sharing and location. But
but this money, just like a mob boss extortions a small business owner when they're like, hey, we'll give you this money, but it's gonna come with some conditions.
Right. Exactly. And that's what they do. The BRICS nations in June of 2012 pledged that, so all of them got together and got their money and put it all in the middle of the table, and it come out being $75 billion to boost the lending power. So to give them more capability, to pretty much give them more assets to be able to lend out to these other nations that they're trying to, build up, recruit, basically. Because this is before they've come together and said, okay, we got to have our own shit with agreed to create a global financial institution.
Yeah.
So at first,
I don't want to go off or anything like that, but so we this whole time we've been going into BRICS, and it may seem like that we're for America and against BRICS. No, quite the contrary. We're not on either side, right? We believe the Bible, we believe the Scripture, we believe on the Lord, right? All these countries are evil. All these countries are wicked. So we're not saying that like, oh, the BRICS is evil and the U.S. is good, or the U.S. is evil and the BRICS is good. No. The IMF, just for example, wicked as hell, right? They've done their World Bank loans to keep countries in poverty, especially Latin American and African countries and Southeast Asian countries. It's all wicked. It's all evil. It's all leading to World War III. And we'll get into that here in a second. Is there anything else that you want to bring out on the currency?
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but not just to keep them in poverty, but to straight up, play them, trick them, and steal all of their resources and all of their worth right out from under them.
Yeah.
Disguised in the gift wrapping of a country or economic stabilizing loan. It's like, this is a huge favor we're doing for y'all, but knowing deep down the agenda is to trick them into signing this, because one, this is a loan that they will never be able to meet the requirements on. Therefore, without question, they will default on the loan.
Yeah.
So whatever penalties come behind that are guaranteed if they set the parameters to where there's no way around it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah.
That's what the IMF specializes in, is not just keeping these other countries in poverty, but going to these poverty-stricken countries and hitting them with the do-si-do loop-de-loo and completely robbing them blind of what little they do have. So
yes, that's how they keep them in poverty, but I'm glad you elaborated.
That the Bible speaks of the thief that won't leave not one grape.
We're about to get that here in a minute. So you got that on the currency?
There's one more part. After the summit, the BRICS stated that they plan to finalize the arrangements for this new development bank by 2014, but they couldn't figure that out. BRICS leaders meeting in St. Petersburg in September 2013. China committed $41 billion towards the pool. Brazil, India, Russia, $18 billion each. South Africa, $5 billion. China, holder of the world's largest foreign exchange reserves and contributes the bulk of the currency pool, wants a more significant managing role, said one BRICS official. China also wants to be the location of the reserve. Brazil and India want the initial capital to be shared equally. We know that China wants more, said a Brazilian official. However, we are still negotiating. There are no tensions arising yet. On the 11th of October in 2013, Russia's finance minister, Anton Solonov, this handsome fellow right here, said that creating $100 billion in funds designated to steady currency markets would be taken in early 2014. Okay, so in October of 2013, Russia's finance minister said that creating $100 billion in funds designated to steady currency markets would be taken. So he's saying we're going to print up $100 billion to help steady currency markets, which means spread our dollar further, making sure that is the only currency being used. Talking about steady currency markets. All right, the Brazilian finance minister.
I also noticed that China is basically like, hey, I want to be the leader of this, whereas Brazil and India is like, hey, y'all spread out the money evenly whenever we do make it, and China's like, nah, I want some more of it, because you have these leaders of these nations very proud and very ego driven. Their tensions are naturally going to rise whenever you do things like this.
Yeah. Yes, and bro, you gotta remember, these are all alpha males, besides that one woman critter who's got a spirit of a man on her, whatever. Yeah. But also these are leaders of their nations in their respects. So guess what? They run shit, set the tone everywhere else, that they go, that they're from. So of course they're gonna want them to come in here and take the reins, because leading up to this point in their lives, that's what their lives have been. We're the guy that steps up, that does what it takes to end up on top in control. You know what I mean? But look, China wants to be in charge, because they committed $41 billion towards the pool, where Brazil, India, and Russia did $18 billion each, and South Africa did $5 billion. And then they want to talk about Brazil and India talk about, we want the same amount of money back whenever we all get some money. Yeah. And China said, motherfucker, I bet you do. Hell, I wish I might.
Absolutely, man. But yeah.
I could not agree on that. Burden sharing is what China said. Let's make it sound nice. China said, y'all want to fuck on me? Pay $41 billion, y'all pay 18, and we split the money even?
Yeah.
So they're like, that is not sharing the burden.
Right. That's not sharing the burden at all. But China professed to be a communist country. Where's their communism at whenever Brazil is asking for a handout here?
Oh, they ain't talking about that now. You know what they're talking about? Communism amongst Moab. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. But I see your question, Dustin. All I can say is we go live every Friday at 8. We do a history call every Wednesday at 8:30, Central Standard Time. So those are the times when we go live. I would just say turn your Facebook notifications on, and then you'll see. You'll probably see a lot more than you need to, but you'll see when we go live too, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. That is I would turn on specific notifications coming from Ezekiel and that channel. That we do.
You can do that on Facebook. You definitely can on YouTube, but I don't know if you can on Facebook.
I think you can, bro, because I think I got mine set up that way.
Okay.
About anytime live or post something.
Yeah.
Maybe not even post something, but definitely go live. Only from you will I get notified. Because, bro, I had to cut my notifications off. They were killing me. But hang on 1 second. And another just a reminder here. This is not our normally scheduled programming. But this is us getting into this BRICS. Like I said, Ezekiel was not aware of this, and this is some very pertinent information in the
we make things like this from time to time. It's just a Sabbath class, whether we decide to go straight scripture, whether we decide to do current events. It just depends on what we may bring out. But have you wrapped up here? You got a little bit more on the currency
information.
Yes, exactly.
Back to the scriptures as well. So do what, bro? You froze up on me.
Well, yeah, you had kind of went in and out there too. But no, I'm just are you done on the currency, or there's a little more on
that? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find the name of it. And all right, so let's see. say about that. Say that the following. One driver for the BRICS Development Bank is that the existing institutions primarily benefit extra BRICS corporations, and the political significance is notable because it allows BRICS member states to promote their interests abroad and can highlight the strengthening positions of countries whose opinion is frequently ignored by their developed American and European colleagues. Okay, at a meeting on the margins of the Nuclear Security Summit, which was the first. Okay, no, I didn't care about this yet. This was in March of 2014 in The Hague. The BRICS foreign ministers issued a communique that noted with concern the recent media statement on the forthcoming G20 summit to be held in Brisbane in November 2014. The custodianship of the G20 belongs to all member states equally, and no one member state can unilaterally determine its nature and character. In light of the tension surrounding the annexation of Ukrainian Crimea by Russia, the ministers remarked that the escalation of hostile language, sanctions, and counter-sanctions and force does not contribute to a sustainable and peaceful solution according to international law, including the principles and purposes of the United Nations Charter. This was in response to the statement of the then Australian Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop Gorgeous, who had said earlier that Russian President Vladimir Putin might be barred from attending the G20 summit in Brisbane. So you had Russia come out here and say after they said Vladimir Putin, he might be barred from the G20 summit, where all the United Nations Charter, all the the main powers of the world get together and argue.
Yes.
But she said, well, he might not even be allowed to come. And then he said, in light of the tensions surrounding the annexation, the ministers remarked that the escalation of hostile language, sanctions, and counter-sanctions and force does not contribute to a sustainable and peaceful solution. So he's saying, you keep talking that shit. How the hell are we ever supposed to sit down at a table and come to any sort of agreement? According
yeah, you bounced in and out there towards after agreement, but yeah. So the Russian invasion of Crimea in 2014. That's the first time they invaded Ukraine. That holds a lot more weight now. Hearing this about how that's why they're not afraid to do these things anymore. Because Russia, pretty much since the Soviet Union has fell, has wanted to do things like this, as far as take all their former land back. Now that they got all these allies, not only in China, but in Brazil and India and Iran and, UAE, possibly Egypt and Saudi Arabia, they say, okay, now we can go forward with the Ukraine invasion on a full-scale invasion. That's what they did, earlier in 2022.
Right. All right, so it's saying in 13th of July 2014, when the final game of the FIFA World Cup was held, and in advance of the BRICS Fortaleza summit, Putin met fellow leader Dilma Rousseff to discuss the BRICS Development Bank and sign some other bilateral accords on air defense, gas, and education. Rousseff said that the BRICS countries are among the largest in the world and cannot content themselves in the middle of the 21st century with any kind of dependency. The Fortaleza summit was followed by a BRICS meeting with the Union of South American Nations presidents in Brasilia, where the Development Bank and the Monetary Fund were introduced. The Development Bank will have a capital of US $50 billion, with each country contributing US $10 billion, while the Monetary Fund will have US $100 billion at its disposal. On the 15th of July, the first day of the BRICS 6th summit in Fortaleza, Brazil, the group of emerging economies signed the long-anticipated document, to create the U.S. $100 billion new development bank, formerly known as the BRICS Development Bank, and a reserve currency pool worth over another $100 billion. Documents on cooperation between BRICS export credit agencies and an agreement of cooperation on innovation were also inked. At the end of October 2014, Brazil trimmed down its holdings of U.S. government securities to $261.7 billion. India, $77.5 billion. China, U.S. $1.25 trillion. And South Africa, U.S. $10.3 billion. And in March
they're weaning themselves off of the U.S. Dollar, off the U.S.
Absolutely. And it's saying in March of 2015. So this has happened progressively, give or take 6 months, starting when shit really popped off in 2011. They had the meeting in 2012, and then by 13, whenever they figured out they had to start their own money. 2014, they're trying to put it to ink, and then they do in October. And then March 2015, Morgan Stanley stated that India and Indonesia had escaped from the Fragile Five, the 5 major emerging markets with the most fragile currencies, by instituting economic reforms. Previously, in August 2013, Morgan Stanley rated India and Indonesia, together with Brazil, Turkey, and South Africa, as the Fragile Five due to their vulnerable currencies. And, that's just them talking shit because they won't convert over to their dollar.
Yeah, not only that, but BRICS seems like they had really I say BRICS, but really Russia and China seem like they really targeted a couple of unstable nations. You know what I mean? Who are unstable in their economies, and they said, okay, we'll assist you, we'll help you, but you got to do this for us.
Absolutely. And like specifically picking out of these quote unquote Fragile Five due to their vulnerable currencies. And they also see that and say they will not take a loan because it's not for a lack of trying that Babylon had tricked out their position in these countries already. So they was like, yeah, that's the ones we got to go for. But it says, but since then, India and Indonesia have reformed their economies, completing 85% and 65% of the necessary adjustments, respectively, while Brazil had only achieved 15%, Turkey only 10%, South Africa even less. After the 2015 summit, the respective communication ministers, under a Russian proposal, had a first summit for their ministry in Moscow in October, where the host minister, Nikola Nikiforov, proposed an initiative to further tighten their information technology sectors and challenge the monopoly of the United States in the sector. So they're starting to tighten down or tighten up on their information technology sector. So how they're passing their information on their technologies and how they're advancing in different ways. So I'm gonna say mainly in nuclear warfare, specifically, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah.
All right, since 2012, the BRICS group of countries have. Do I now?
No, I was just saying, not letting that nuclear information leak, but also like China with their Huawei phones, they started making their own phones instead of trying to get U.S. products, U.S. technologies,
exactly, because
own technologies.
Right, and they're not being so open with their information. You see what I'm saying? Tighten their information technology sectors. So that means trim the fat of their inner circles on who has this information on how we process whatever technology we're talking about here, which I'm sure is nation advancing type knowledge there.
Yeah,
but also since 2012.
But yeah, bro, wrap it up so we can get to the scripture.
All right. Yeah, I gotta grab my charger too in just a second. All right, country I've been putting on an optical fiber submarine communications cable system to carry telecommunications between the BRICS countries, known as the BRICS cable. That's a submarine communications of like where they got these satellites and how they run their phones and shit now, and they're developing one of submarine underwater.
Yeah.
Spying
But also,
for the project
like
the spying of the U.S. National Security Agency on all. Huh?
No, I was gonna say a lot of
Gabriel.
I was gonna say a lot of the internet is actually connected through underwater cables.
Okay.
So that could be what it's going on.
But it's saying the new development bank located in China plans on giving out $15 billion to member nations to help their struggling economies. Hang on. Go. But yeah, bro, I'll do a little bit more research and get you the exact name of that. But we can go ahead and hit the script.
All right. That was a lot. So basically, just to ask these other nations, specifically Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now South Africa is, head of these nations who are attempting to exclude the U.S. and break away from the U.S. currency and doing what's basically forming the maybe even Axis powers. That's the equivalent of the World War II. But enough of this allyship to start World War III. That's where it's all headed. It's all headed to World War III. So,
absolutely.
With that, we're going to start in Obadiah because this BRICS actually started forming under Goldman Sachs, an American banking company. That's how these nations, not how they met each other,
but now?
How they met each other through Goldman Sachs.
Do what, bro? You want to say that one more? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your camera is nothing, so you might want to turn that back around.
Yeah, no, I'm about to. I'm just getting my charger plugged up.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, though. At least I can. But yeah, I want to start in Obadiah, and we'll start with verse 1, and we'll read a little bit in there.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Obadiah, verse 1.
Yeah, start with verse 1.
Okay. Just a second. Zephaniah. Here we go. All right. Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Right, so Edom is so-called white people, so-called European, so-called Caucasian. That's who Edom is. And the major Edomite kingdom in the earth today, the major Edomite nation in the world today is the U.S., America, right? But you also got Russia, right? You also got like Britain and France and things like this. These are big global powers. And even South Africa has now pretty much been taken over again by the whether you want to call it native people or whatever, but the Israelites who live down there and the Canaanites, But
were you talking about
South Africa?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. But it used to be run by Edom, and a lot of it still is. A lot of the businesses are. But it's saying, "Arise ye, let us rise up against her in battle." That's talking about the coming Third World War. That's what that's talking about. All right, read.
All right. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Right. So the other nations hate Edom, specifically America. Right. So that's why Russia is able to link up with China and say, "Oh, don't you hate America? We can do something together." That's why they're able to link up with India and Brazil and South Africa and all these other countries like Egypt and maybe even Saudi Arabia and the UAE, Iran, right? Argentina, Venezuela, Mexico. All right. Keep reading.
All right. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Whose habitation is high. Who started building the skyscrapers? All right. That was America. That was Europe. Of course, the other nations then followed suit. All right. So the pride of Edom have lifted themselves up. That's how Goldman Sachs is able to be like, let's bring all these other nations together and start a currency to rival the dollar. This won't come back to hurt me in any kind of way.
Right, exactly. And also, I wanted to add to that the habitation being on high. Who'd always say, big house on the hill?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Esau got the money, the boss man, he gets the big house on the hill.
Right. That goes into like
also
on the mountain.
Moving up what do they call it? Moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
So at the top of the ladder, the top of the mountain, you get they have houses all the time that's built into like mountains, so you get this view. Like on Grand Theft Auto, you can look over out of, I think, Franklin's or whatever, one of them's house, maybe Michael's, and you can see the whole city and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, exactly. And like
also the airplane.
Yeah, and Iron Man and Tony Stark, he had the house built into the side of a mountain in the cliff.
Right, and also that one on Grand Theft Auto again, where you got at the beginning of the game where you got to go pull it down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, keep reading. Verse 4.
All right. Thou, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Right. So you have the eagle. Look at the eagle and the country. Or rather, I should say, the national animal of America is what? The eagle, the bald eagle, right? And it says, though thou set thy nest among the stars. Who started with the space travel? You have, it was a competition between Russia and America, all right? Russia actually got to space first, but America got to the moon first, all right? So that is setting their nest among the stars, all right? And of course, some other nations followed suit, like whether it be Japan with their satellites, China with their satellites, India with their satellites, right? And let's read verse 5 as well.
But before we do, I also want to add, but that right there lets you know off top, bro, about the cousins.
Yep.
And how the Most High obviously has a distinction in the separation and division and difference between the two sects of the same family, but they are the same family.
Yeah.
So, like it says, when Christ comes back, everybody will go back to where they're from, and everybody will go back to their people. Guess what? You're going to have Russia and America going to be standing in the same spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're all going back to, because, like white, of course, like black people say the motherland is Africa, right? But if you listen to white people, they say the motherland is Russia and the fatherland is Germany and all that kind of stuff,
Right, yeah.
So, that's Gog and Magog. But keep reading on verse 5, because you mentioned this earlier when we was talking about the IMF and what they do.
All right. Right. All right, verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen all till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Right. So if thieves come to rob you, they're only going to take like maybe the money and like TV. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to steal your whole house, right?
Right.
But he'll steal the house, the land that it's on, and the whole
your
country.
Car.
And be like, now you owe me money.
Right. They steal your car. They'd put a damn like some kind of personalization tag on your mailbox. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like saying that it's owned by them now. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, it's no end to it. Like you said, once they take everything you got, then they'll figure out a way to put you in debt or ruin your credit so you can't go out and recuperate what you just lost, and we're gonna read. How are the things of Esau searched out? How did they figure out how to be so damn evil?
Right. And the Psalms say that they meditate evil upon their beds. That's how they come up with this. All right. But yeah, read verse 7 as well.
All right. Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up?
Right, because the Lord knows every hidden thing that he's doing. Because we're just reading these Wikipedia articles, right? We don't know all the intricacies of what they're doing and even stuff that they got going on now. Even these articles where like Wikipedia draws its sources from, they come out way later.
Exactly.
You know?
Like it was saying, like I had never heard of BRICS up until at the most 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they was coining the phrase BRICS in that publication in 2001.
2001.
Right. That's when they got the name.
And it wasn't like Time magazine. It wasn't the New York Times where they were coining this term. It was in some hidden business magazine nobody ever reads.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's probably so obscure. Yeah. You'd have more subscribers to Dave Meltzer's Observer.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, read this in verse 7.
All right, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Right, Esau has no understanding because he doesn't realize all his allies are going to turn on him.
Right.
And that's what you see with this BRICS. A lot of these, including Saudi Arabia, was at one point an American ally. And
right.
Saudi Arabia still does business with the U.S., as you can see with, the WWE thing.
Right.
But
that's
all
one small part.
Against Esau.
The CIA also just did I think it was $60 billion weapons deal between Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And supplying them weapons. So they're doing the old Rothschild family trick.
Yeah.
Of fund both sides. They're supplying their direct enemy / competition, and the competition here is global dominance and life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. So go to 2nd Esdras 15. Now this is 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, which if you have a 1611 KJV, it's in the Bible, but in the revised editions, they have taken it out the Bible. In the revised editions, it jumps from Malachi to Matthew, but in the 1611 KJV, as you can see, 2nd Esdras is here in the Bible. All right. So 2nd Esdras 15, and jump down to verse 24, because this is actually start with 14 and we're going to jump down because we need to know why this Third World War is going to happen. All right, and it is going to happen. That's what we was basically going over, how these allies are forming with BRICS, right, with Russia, China, Brazil, and India, and South Africa, how they're basically forming an alliance against America. And that's how it's going to end up going down. America's going to have its allies, but then you're going to have these BRICS countries, some staying a part of that and being on their side, some maybe even switching sides, going back and forth when the war starts, but that's what's going to start this war. All right?
Right.
And we need
to also, like, on, what was I finna say? We was pretty much detailing the, what's it called? The steps and on the progression that, all the other nations against Babylon, aka America, are, taking and have taken to where they lead up to the big, main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, a lot of it was going into the currency that they're trying to start because they're already politically aligned. Once they get economically independent from the U.S., that's when things are really going to go down, because you don't mess with America's money.
Exactly. And bro, did you remember that line? It should stick out to you. That nations of their something should have as little or no dependency. You remember I read that talking about they didn't think or huh?
Non-interference.
Yeah, non-interference, but also where I specifically said the word dependency, where it was like meant to lower, or they thought that nations or powers, organizations of their size, magnitude, structure, whatever, was it needed a little to no dependency. You know what I'm saying? And that was the main one. Would
be split between the IMF and the new thing that they're trying to start.
Yes, and like you're saying, that's the last step. Remember, it's what got Gaddafi took it out.
Yeah,
is when he was going to jump to it, and he had a hell of a strategy mapped out, and gold dino ready to go. But but that's what's going to be the final undoing of the Velcro.
Yeah.
Of these other nations, and thinking they need to depend on America for, like they were saying, sanctions and reverse sanctions on each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, hey, once they got their own money, and only these nations are dealing in our currency, so that's all we deal with anyways. And you can say we can't deal with them all you want to, but I mean, hell.
Yeah.
Only way you're gonna stop this is if we go to war, which is inevitable.
When it comes to them sanctions, that's what Russia said in 2014, and the sanctions were kicked up even worse in 2022. The same way that the U.S. put sanctions on Iran, which is again a member of the BRICS. So
exactly.
Yeah, read this here in 2 Ezra 15 and 14. We're gonna jump around.
All right, 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Right, destruction to the world and people that live in it. Read.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Right, so war and destruction is near. Jump down to verse 21. This is why. This is why destruction is near.
Verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so I do also, and recompense in their bosom, thus saith the Lord God.
So the same way that they have done to the so-called Black, Latino, American Indian people and all the Israelites dispersed throughout the world, the same thing is going to be done to them. All right? That's why the Third World War is going to be so destructive. All right? Because that's what they've done to us. Right. Jump down to verse 24.
All right, verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord.
And in this war, God will not spare those who don't keep his commandments. Those who break the laws of God will die in this war. Right? Alongside the nations that God is trying to deliver you from. All right? So keep reading.
All right. That was 24, right?
Yeah, that was 24.
All right. And then this breaks it down, going into further detail of what's going to happen to those who do sin and don't keep the commandments. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. So this the Most High getting at us, saying, find in, go on, run along, little children. Get away from this power. Because you obviously don't want it, can't handle it, or you would have did the steps necessary for you to live up to our expectation and responsibility, being Israelites, prince of the of the power of God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and where it says like, defile not my sanctuary. God's saying, if you ain't gonna keep my commandments, I don't want you to be near me.
Exactly. And like we're supposed to be we are supposed to be a representation of the temple. So defile not my sanctuary,
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, keep reading.
All right, for the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
Right. God knows all your secret sins, and he's going to put you to death if you keep sinning. All right, read.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them, for God shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him.
Right, so God is not going to deliver you from the plagues that's coming. All right, and he's about to describe what's going to happen, what's going to unfold to start this third world war. All right, read.
All right. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
All right, so God is taking to the east, the eastern hemisphere, and specifically the Middle East. All right,
right.
Read.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Right, so the dragons of Arabia are the Ishmaelites, the Arabians. All right, they are, as I said, they come out with many chariots. Today it's not called chariots. Today it's called cars or trucks or vans or even tanks. All right, it says the multitude of them will be carried as the wind upon the earth. All right, they're all over the world. All right, doing these, terroristic events. All right.
Right.
It said that all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
See what, bro? You went out like slag behind stuff.
Yeah, you're getting a little choppy too. But basically,
right now you're just
going into wherever they're at, people are afraid because they're committing terrorism, right? Terroristic acts. All right. So keep reading, verse 30.
Verse 30. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste the portion of the land of the Assyrians.
So the Carmanians are the Iranians, the people of Iran. As we read about, were part of this BRICS. All right, they will take war and go to war with a portion of the land of the Assyrians, meaning that's modern day where the Assyrians were Syria or Iraq, that general area, Mesopotamia. All right, so Iran will go to war with one of these two countries. All right, and then it says, then the dragons shall have the upper hand. Right? Have you read that in verse 31 yet?
No, I'll read that next.
Okay, go ahead.
First, what other place did you say besides Iraq?
Syria.
Syria?
Yeah.
Syria. Okay. Hang on, let me write that in.
Yeah, I believe I have a map on here of the Middle East. Let me take a look.
All right, so verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them.
All right, so when it says the dragons, it's making reference to the dragons of Arabia. Then the Arabians, the Ishmaelites, will have the upper hand, remembering their nature. Their nature is that of a wild man, as you read in Genesis 16. Right. So wild that they'll blow themselves up just to take you out.
Right? Just to prove a point.
Yes, just to prove their point to their fake god, their stone god, Allah,
exactly.
Kaaba. All right. So in that war that the Iranians have with the Syrians and or Iraqians, the Arabians will have the upper hand in that. All right. Will take over, not necessarily take over, but get the upper hand on Iran. All right. Read.
All right. Then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them. And then their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings.
Right, exactly. So it says, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. Right? So it says, then these shall be troubled. The Iran is going to get the upper hand again. All right. and from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them. Exactly. So Iran will be able to invade this area. And yes, I do see it's portions of Syria and Iraq. Most likely Iraq, because Syria does not border Iran. So it's most likely going to be Iraq. Iraq and Iran will go to war with each other. And eventually, you'll see it go back and forth. But eventually, Iran's going to take the upper hand. All right. And then people are going to be afraid because Iran is a part of BRICS, as we was reading. All right. About BRICS. All right. And this is what's going to spark the Third World War. This war between Iran and Iraq. All right.
Yep.
Which could pop off at any time, to be honest with you. They've never been allies. They've always been at odds with each other.
Are you talking about Iran and Iraq?
Yes. Iran and Iraq.
Probably, that's probably, you know, got a lot of the same you know, things going on as America and Russia.
Yeah, but they're bordering. They're bordering each other, so it's ramped up that much even more.
Right. So this is next
Like,
door neighbor.
So here you can see Iran and Iraq. You see how I was questioning whether or not it'd be Syria because Mesopotamia goes all the way up into like Turkey, right? But Iran only borders Iraq right there, that portion of the Assyrian. You see that right there?
Right.
So that's what I was talking about with Iraq.
Okay, so Iran is like twice the size of Iraq, huh?
Yeah. Iran is, you know, that's all Persia. That's all Islam.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you said the Iranians, they will get the upper hand, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it'll be Iraq, and Iraq will remember their nature, and then at first they'll succeed, but then they shall be troubled and shall flee the land of Iran, and Iran will get the upper hand at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But first they're gonna give the Iranians hell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right, where am I at?
34.
34. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm.
Right. So when
talking about like warplanes,
huh?
That's talking about warplanes.
Well, no, that's
or clouds being chariots.
Missiles leave trails of smoke.
Okay, that's the clouds.
That's the cloud. The trail of smoke from the missile. That's the cloud. So notice how it said the clouds come from the east, right? And as you can see right here, that's why where it says Iran, where it said in verse what was that? And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, right? Consume some of them, right? So Iran, you see how it's going toward, or rather, it's from the east.
Right.
You see that right here? Well, I got the mouse back here. You know, it goes from the east. So it says in verse 34, it says, "Behold, the clouds from the east." So where's my mouse at? Right here. So boom, from the east, the clouds from the east, and then it says from the north, and you see Russia's right here.
Right above it.
From the north to the south, right?
Right.
Yeah. And they're very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. So that's what it's going into the missiles. The missiles going down over here.
Right.
In Iraq.
Oh, and that's what's going on. What did it say? Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east. This is what's happening over there. All right, so what part did we read? They shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So that's where they're going to drop the nukes on the side that borders Syria, which is the opposite border. So the furthest away from their own country, but still the country next door.
In Mesopotamia. That's where the first nukes are going to drop, in Mesopotamia. So Iraq and Syria area.
Okay.
But mainly Iraq, because they're the ones who border the Armenians.
Right. Exactly.
Right. All right. So,
bro, that's probably that'd probably be an ally to America in Iraq.
Yeah, because America
and then George Bush
in Iraq since that war.
Exactly. And what was George Bush running around here talking about? They was looking for what?
Weapons of mass destruction.
There you go. But knowing the whole time what?
There wasn't none over there.
Exactly. And there still won't be. And they'll get them dropped on them.
Yeah.
So another perfect poetic justice coming back on the head of your friendly neighborhood Edomite.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lord has all this going in motion. All right, from the very beginning. As we can see, this was written like 400 years before Christ, like 300 years before Christ. So yeah, the Lord God of Israel has had this in motion from the beginning. All right, verse 35.
Verse 35. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly.
Right. So God said some of these missiles are going to take out satellites.
Right.
That's what it's talking about. The stars are falling. It ain't talking about the stars up in outer space.
Right.
It's talking about them satellites that are orbiting the Earth.
Right.
They're coming down. They're coming down. So from
and what
jump down
what comes down with those satellites?
Like internet and space jump. Yeah.
Communications.
Yeah, communications, exactly.
What we just read, BRICS is developing.
A submarine to communications.
There you go. They already know the stars are falling.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're developing the morning submarine. It didn't say nothing about getting them out the water, even though it does in Revelation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So
they ain't got that far, bro. They just got through Esdras.
What?
They ain't got that far yet, bro. They just got through Esdras.
Man, they've been studying this thing longer than we have. But yeah, they still, their pride has lifted them up so much they think that there's a way around it.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
And it's like that's why off top in Obadiah it said that to Esau.
Yes, exactly.
Your pride's got you fucked up, excuse my language.
But see, there's about Moab, talking where the Lord's rebuking Moab, talking about his pride has deceived him as well. So that's your China. So
you got there thinking we got the bodies with the population to do whatever we want. We got the economic power. We've got there ain't, and you can't really tell China shit. You know what I mean?
Nope. The pride has definitely lifted them up. Xi Jinping or whatever.
Yep.
So
Xi Jinping.
Yeah. Keep reading this.
All right. And dung of men unto the camel's hoof.
Yeah. And so blood shall be from the sword to the belly, and the dung of men to the camel's hoof. That's talking about how first of all, the blood is obviously talking about murder, but also the dung is talking about whenever a person dies, they defecate their void their bowels. That's what it's called, void their bowels.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of death. All right, read.
Mm-hmm. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them.
Everybody's gonna know. Oh, this is World War III. This is the end here. Everybody's gonna be afraid.
Right. Because, bro, like, especially whenever them satellites and stars fall, bro, like we just said, communications goes with it. So, internet's knocked out. Phones knocked out. So, we're back to the, Stone Age, pretty much. So, of course, everybody's going to be panicking, freaking out, scared to death. There's nukes being dropped on the planet at the time.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
You can only
Yeah.
imagine.
So, keep reading.
All right. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north and another part from the west.
Right there. So the missiles are coming from all over the place.
Right.
So yeah, here you see like southern countries that we talked about would be like South Africa, and south of this area would be like Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and even India is still considered like South Asia.
Yep.
And it says from the north, so you got like Russia and Europe, but then also North America, and it even says another part from the west, from the west.
There you go.
Hemisphere.
That's what they say. If you don't get it out of the north, you can't help but get it out of the west.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, right there in the middle of it.
Exactly. So keep reading.
And strong 39. And strong winds shall arise from the east and shall open.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cloud which we
strong winds shall arise from the east. This is talking about the missiles zooming past from China, from the Far East. They're coming into the fray.
Right. And strong winds shall arise from the east and shall open it. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed.
Yes, exactly. So that a major satellite being destroyed. All right. And it said it shall open it, meaning that first missile that China sends is sending them, is going before the Chinese troops go.
Right. Shall rise from the east and shall open it. What's it talking about? Open it.
Yeah, shall open the east.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The missile's gonna go first, but that's when China will be like, okay, we'll send this missile and then we'll send our troops to go basically clean up, go wipe whatever's left.
Exactly. That's what it's saying. Then the strong wind shall arise from the east and shall open it up. So once you send the nukes, then you send the soldiers.
Yeah.
All right. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath. So whatever he sent in the heat of the moment, whatever that cloud is, and people right here what it said. The first one coming from the east.
Yeah, and the star, and the cloud which he's raised up in wrath. That's that strong wind coming from the east.
Right. And the star stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind. What is that?
That's a major satellite.
Right, but like for instance, give me a for instance. That would do what? Like internet?
Yeah.
Or like I said,
it's the star stirred to cause fear in the east and the west, right? So it's the star that's designed for whether it be like their communications or whatever.
Right. And the star that stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind. So the east and west wind being what? Just from the east and the west?
Yes. Stirred to cause fear between the east and the west. That star,
so what's that talking about? Television? Because what do they do on there? They fear monger.
Social media is through the phones as well, communications. Like what you were just talking about, how China is talking about developing communication systems with these BRICS.
Right. And you see the Most High threw a little jab in here, started to cause fear toward the east and west. That's how they spread fear across the whole planet. Look what they just did with COVID.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it's saying there, toward the east and the west.
Yeah.
Like that. So I bet you that's going to be a key. It's going to be one of their main ways of propaganda.
Yes, that's what I'm going into when it comes to like communications and whatever. But yeah, it started to cause fear east and the west because they're the east, so within their own people, and the west, America.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place an horrible star, fire and hail and fleeing swords and many waters.
Here it actually means flying, right? If you read like an updated translation, it's talking about flying.
Okay, so that's obviously going into the missile.
Yeah, exactly. Fire and hail, because like hail comes down from the sky, right?
Exactly.
And
And
that's
plus, like
into fire and hell.
any decent sized chunk of anything falling from the sky that's not water, rain, is considered hell.
Yeah.
So, bro, think about that. That's pieces of satellites.
Mm-hmm.
That's pieces of fighter jets.
Exactly.
That's pieces of
anything falling from the sky like that, especially like metal or like whatever. Whenever it develops that fire streak, if it's falling all the way from space, it'll develop that fire streak. That's what's talking about fire and hell and flying sword.
And and plus, like I'm saying, you've already had all these missiles and all this war and stuff happening. Mm-hmm. So there's gonna be fires going, and then there's hell raining down.
Yeah.
And and then you've got missiles steadily back and forth. And it's total and utter chaos.
Exactly. Not only like we're talking about things that are destroyed in the sky as this is going on, but the space junk that is up there, it's gonna come down in some of this too.
Exactly. And bro, like and another way they'd set their nest on high is they in the last few years developed a Space Force.
Yeah.
Which is a specific intelligence agency to govern space.
Yeah. You gonna
like that's what bro, think about how laughable.
Yeah. That's crazy. Govern all of space.
Right. Like the Nova Corps of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Knowing that they ain't nowhere near what they want to be as far as technology and traveling space and stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna take over all of space.
Bro, explain to me how the hell they're gonna go up there and pull over an angel in a chariot for a traffic citation. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
They can't even how they gonna manage that? Right. Like they gonna blue light an angel.
Yeah.
Who steps out of the car, fucking, what the hell they gonna tell an angel? Not a damn thing.
Oh man, absolutely.
That's pride right there, bro. That's pride.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, read this in verse 41 and 42, then we're gonna jump down.
All right. Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And so not only is all that other shit going on, but here's your duality with the Most High.
I know what you're gonna say, and this waters is talking about people.
Okay.
We're talking about filling the fields with people.
Right, like it said earlier with the the sword. Blood shall be from the sword to the belly, and the dung of men into the camel's hoof.
Yeah,
it's another way of saying there's gonna be dead bodies galore.
Exactly, and when it's talking about
the
fields and all the rivers, like all the great waters, it's talking about the still living people out there fighting, right. Plus the dead bodies and stuff around them.
Exactly, but no, bro, it's the Most High. Literally creating before everything is restored and renewed the valley of the dry bones, what Israel's been for all these years, but here's the enemy and they're just fucking dead people. You know what I'm saying?
Except it's gonna be wet bones because they're gonna be not only freshly murdered but also bloody.
Right, soaking, covered, dripping and oozing.
Yep. So yeah, keep reading.
All right. Verse 42, and they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their corn. And they shall go, steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid.
Right there. So they're going to break down the cities and the walls, destroy everywhere where they're at. Then it says they shall go steadfastly to Babylon. All right. So that's not only the ancient Babylon, which is Iraq, which ties us back into what we was talking about earlier, right? But also Babylon the Great. All right. Gonna make her afraid. All right.
Yeah.
So jump down to verse 46.
All right, verse 46. Yep. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee.
Right. So this saying destruction unto Asia. So that's like China and Japan that want to be like America in every way. And China, you see this specifically because they're trying to take over the world like America has done.
That's what I'm saying. And then they're like, going around playing the handout Big Brother, saving.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally that's the phrase America would use. It's Big Brother nation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but not only that, but also and then finally, after all these years since they fucking got into power with Greece and with Alexander the Great, whenever they've been at the head of the table, big dog in Moab.
Yeah.
Finally, we figured it out, a way to get the upper hand, and now we're fixing to, it's looking good for BRICS. And, just starting out when the war pops off and shit. So they're like, finally, here we go, It's like they finally, victory lap. And then, skirt, a record scratch.
Yeah.
This world is over.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
nukes from the West.
Right. You made it to the end of the game only for it to be a fat baby laughing at you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So keep reading this.
All right. Verse 47. No, I just read that.
Just read that.
48. Thou hast followed her, that is, hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore say
all right,
God.
so stop. I do want to go back to in verse 47 where it said, make thyself like unto her, meaning Babylon, and has decked thy daughters in thy whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers. Right? So that's the allies that China is building up with this BRICS. All right.
Yep.
Which have committed whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed America's footsteps, that is hated in all her works and inventions. All right.
Exactly.
Because God hates America.
Yep.
Not only does God hate America and all the stuff that America has done to his people, but the world hates America and all that it's done to the rest of the world. So
exactly.
China is following in those footsteps. It's going to receive the same reward.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
bro, like it says, and has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers. Who is their lovers? Esau.
Yeah.
That's who I'm referring to right here. Okay. So how would you go about decking thy daughters in whoredom, that they may please and glory in them? You've decked your daughters.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to break it down real fast. You've decked your daughters, okay? So if nothing else, you've raised them to think a certain way. Has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers. So you've raised up your daughters to in whoredom, obviously, like you see every day, boyfriends, girlfriends, wearing the same clothes, living the same ways, you know what I'm saying? Like literally making daughters whores, but at the same time, teaching them this way that everything they do has got to measure up and to be acknowledged by Esau. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not only is this talking about whoredom in a physical and literal sense, but it's talking about spiritual whoredom, idolatries.
Exactly. Yeah, to follow after the same, falsehoods that Esau is and has. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, read this in 49.
All right. 49. I will send plagues upon thee: widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death.
Right. So God said, "I'm going to destroy you, Asia. I'm going to destroy you, China. All right.
Kill you.
Yes, I'm going to destroy your nation. I'm going to, even as it said earlier about breaking down the cities, right? Breaking down the houses, waste thy houses, as it says right here. All right.
Yeah.
Poverty, because they try to set up them the Federal Reserve or their own Federal Reserve in Shanghai. God said, I'm going to destroy that. It ain't going to be no more whatever currency you're trying to make.
Yep. And like I said, I'm gonna find that name for it and let you know. But remember what China was saying? They put in the largest cut.
Yeah.
They wanted the controlling interest, but also not only that, the location. They wanted it where?
In Shanghai.
There you go, right there. You know,
in their capital.
Right, and what they're setting up is the exact, parallel or exact mirror image of the IMF. They just realized the IMF is so ingrained, there's no way we can infiltrate and take over from Esau.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Or specifically America, since Russia, was right there with China and, helping found this organization to, endure and overcome.
Yeah, exactly. But see, like Russia, they're going along with it, but they're kind of taking a back seat to China, letting China do their thing, and they're more concerned with taking back the territory that they lost whenever America disbanded that Soviet Union.
Right, and but also but why are they doing that? Taking that back seat instead of and grabbing it by the balls like Putin does everything else, and take full charge. You know what I mean?
So that he can focus on taking back the land that that he lost with the Soviet Union. But yeah, they don't want to, because America is their cousin, as you've been saying.
That's what I've been saying. Bigger picture, you gotta remember. Just think about how World War II ended. The main narrative was, Germany and the Axis versus, Europe, America, or America and Europe and the Allied, but yet, the finish, so to speak, wrestling terms, was dropping the bomb on little old Japan.
Yeah.
Like, this was about fucking, or excuse my language, Nazis and, fake Jews. But when it's all said and done, America comes off the top rope, drops the nuke on Japan. What the hell? They're like the first row spectator.
with the elbow.
All right. Exactly. Like they got roped in. They was somebody's little brother. And, a big homie said, hey, come here. I need you to go grab that for me real quick. And then get out the way. Get out the way so you don't get hurt. And then all of a sudden, he gets there. He gets it. He's coming back. I got it. Bam.
Yeah.
No. Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So jump down to verse 50.
All right, verse 50. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as flour, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee.
When the radiation, he said you're going to be cooked like flour is cooked.
Right.
All right, read.
Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee.
He said, you're not going to be able to turn to Russia to help you. You're not going to be able to turn to India or Brazil to help you in that day.
Nope.
Or South Africa or whoever else your allies are.
And it's going to be like a poor woman. So what do they always say in the world? Don't nobody want to mess with nobody poor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to turn into a poor woman with stripes, which is something, particularly standing out. It's like a deformity. So there's obviously something, representative in this poor woman with stripes is a woman that can bring little to the table with noticeable flaws.
Yeah.
To put it as nice as possible.
Talking about like whelps, as it says right here, chastised with wounds.
Right. So you got little to bring to the table, and you're like coming back as a beaten competitor. It's like you're dragging yourself back to them, but they're like, "Hell no, we don't know you."
Yeah. I just go back to something like Django, right? Where you had like not only Kerry Washington, but that was that other woman that Django ended up saving. Where they're getting whipped across the back, right? A poor woman with stripes. That's how they're coming. Like not only somebody who's been beaten, but a poor woman who's been beaten. So that's even worse.
Chastised.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And like,
But
and now you're coming back to be received and, you know, patted on the back saying it's going to be all right.
But they will not receive thee.
Exactly. That's the last gut punch of the, you know, the recompense.
Yeah, nobody's coming to help you in that day. All right. So jump down to verse 56.
All right, 56. Yeah, because we finna have to wrap up.
Yes.
All right, verse 56. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Lord, even so shall God do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief.
You see that right there? So China, the way that they've been taken over, and even back to like their dynasties, where they would bring slaves in and make them wash the bottom of the ship while the ship was moving. All right. Not only that, but how they've taken over southeastern Asia. All right, and all the Israelites down there. How they have went into Africa and Latin America and started taking resources from them. All right.
That's what I've been saying. Yep.
But now jump down to 16 and verse 1. We're not going to read this 16. We just want verse 1.
All right. Chapter 16, verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
This is all engulfing. Egypt and Syria is talking about the Middle East, obviously. Right. But then you get into, Middle East and North Africa and in Egypt's case. But, you know, Babylon, like what we were just talking about, Babylon the Great. And we also go into Asia, right? Asia being China.
And also Russia. Russia is in Asia.
Yes. So technically it is, but usually when the Bible talks about Russia, it goes into the north.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But I'm saying like this encompasses, you know, this encompasses both sides.
Yes.
America and BRICS.
Yes. This encompasses all of it. Absolutely. It encompasses Russia and China and all of BRICS, like what you have been bringing out. It encompasses, you know, the West, the U.S., exactly. The Middle East. It'll be all that. So to close it out, we'll go to Joel 3.
All right. But no, bro, I'll just get this little comment in there real quick. Bro, just think about it though. That's the perfect ending to the overarching story. Is how you know, and at the same time they're gonna be coming down hard on us with the hate speech laws and persecuting the Israelites, trying to keep the commandments and get out of this predicament that they are constantly walking us into on a daily basis. But you know, both sides are made up of Israel's enemies, going to battling it out for supremacy of top dog shit.
Yeah.
And when it's said and done, all of them dead.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's no winning side.
Will pay for their sins.
Yeah.
All right. So read this in Joel 3, verse. Start with verse 1.
All right. Hang on one second. I gotta get to Joel.
Yeah.
All right. What's right before it? Amos.
No, Amos is right after. Joel's right after Hosea.
Okay. I got you. Joel chapter 3 and verse what?
Yeah, start with verse 1.
Start with verse 1. All right. Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
Right, meaning bring back the Israelites from captivity.
Right. All right. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down unto the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, so you had mentioned that earlier. Another scripture calls it the valley of Megiddo, which is in Greek Armageddon.
Right.
That's World War III. All right.
All right. And will plead with them there for my people.
Right. When God pleads with people, he's not coming down to talk to you.
No.
God pleads. Actually, hold this and give me Isaiah 66 and verse 16, because this is how God pleads.
Yeah. Right. I got that wrote right beside it.
Yeah, same.
Isaiah 66 and 16?
Yes.
All right. So it's LX is 60. Yeah, LX VI. All right, LX VI 16. 66 and 16?
That's right.
All right. Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Right. So by his sword, meaning by death, by war, and by fire. All right. A war of fire. This is talking about nuclear fire, nuclear radiation. All right. That's what the Lord pleads with all flesh. All right. And the slain of the Lord shall be many, like what was reading in Ezra. All right. Ezra actually broke down the steps in which it was going to happen. All right.
Right.
Revelation also goes into some detail. We didn't necessarily get to that because it was a little short on time. But go back to Joel 3. This is talking about World War III. All right, and how it's going to happen. And we was reading about BRICS. All right, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Mostly China orchestrating this. Their allies who will be in that war.
Right. They're the ones. They're the ones behind the scenes doing the most, putting the most footwork in to pull off this global coup.
Exactly. They formed this union specifically against America.
Right. It's all about them saying, we've waited on y'all's acknowledgement. Y'all refuse to give it. Y'all are assholes if you do. And we're taking this spot now.
Exactly. They're trying to become the #1 nation in the earth. But we know after America, it's God's kingdom. It's right. Christ. It's the Israelites who is going to rule the earth. All right?
They're really trying to become Esau.
Yeah. Exactly. Like what Ezra said. They want to be Babylon.
Right.
Yeah, so read that here in Joel 3 and verse 2.
All right. And book of Joel. All right, 1 second. I thought I had my thumb on Joel. It was on dang. What we just read in Isaiah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, Joel chapter 3 and verse 1 and 2.
Verse 2.
All right. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have.
Yeah, so it said God said he will plead with them there, meaning he will bring destruction to them there for his people. Same thing it said in the book of Ezra. He said, I'm doing this to these people for all that they've done to my people.
Right.
All right. He said, like you've done unto my chosen, the same shall come unto thee.
Yep.
All right. Read that again.
What, verse 2?
Yeah, you can read that part of it if you want to, or the whole verse. It don't matter.
All right. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right.
So in Ezra, we didn't really get into how Israel, the country, becomes involved in this, but we see right here in the valley of Jehoshaphat, that is in modern day Israel, and it's in ancient Israel too. But the point I'm making is that they get involved in this as well, and there's going to be troops there. All nations going to be gathered there, and that's when them nukes going to hit. All right, because they have done evil unto the real Israelites, scattered them among the nations through slavery, through slave ships, and forced migration, and parted his land, as you see today with Israel and Palestine. All right.
That's going to be one of the main conflicts is them. Neither one of them supposed deserving or the audacity of them to be over there, but they're over there trying to kill each other for what neither one of them should even be concerned with, much less fighting over.
That's right, and they're fighting over the land that is not theirs, that belongs to the 12 tribes, which neither of them have.
Right.
All right.
That we was led out of, due to a punishment by the Most High. So the Most High is the one who got us out of there, and they're over here fighting over it, it belongs to us. We're in the right, and everybody's gonna be either pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, and who's right and who's wrong, and and that's what's gonna really piss the Most High off to that point where he remembers his people and his land, and
yes,
he's like, fuck it, he stands I can just picture him standing up on the throne, and like remember what Thanos did in Endgame, where he had them armies behind him. He looked at theirs, and he took his sword. He was like, "Bah!" Or he didn't even make a noise, but everybody just, "Bah!"
You said he didn't make the noise, but no, there's
Right.
a part at the end of like the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy where Thanos is like, "Well, looks like I have to do it myself."
Yep. That's at the at the end of the first one, or at the end of the first Avengers.
Oh, is that what it was?
Remember?
Okay.
Yeah, when Battle of New York and Tony flew the nuke and all that bullshit.
Yeah, it was one of them. It was one of them. I didn't remember which one, but no, but yeah, like what it said in well, there's another scripture because you had said a couple things that brought some things to mind, but there was another scripture to say for the controversy of Zion. That's what
Right,
it's
exactly.
going to be about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went a little long tonight, but it was some interesting and some pertinent information that needed to be brought out.